All right, good stuff. Good stuff. I'm a little bit anal that way. I've done music like all my life. I'm a guitar player in our praise and worship band, and I happen to be the male vocalist because I'm like the male in our band that can sing. So like I'm like a perfectionist. Like here, I'm just in the fan, so it's like right on me. It's like it's almost OCD. So if something's not right, it just drives me nuts. And so that drove me nuts last night here in the Rumble, and I just like so I apologize. Like I don't get feedback because I don't hear. It's not like in a recording studio where you can totally monitor yourself. So that's so much better. I feel better that I know it's going to be better this time around. Mm. Anyway, cool. Well, let's get rocking, man. Welcome everybody back to our session number 2. Another time to spend with you tonight. I can't think of anything better I'd rather do. I mean, I know some things I could do, but you know what? This stuff is fun, man. I love teaching. I really enjoy it. And then when I hear the feedback, um, like when I hear feedback of people writing policies, I'm going, rock on, man. We killed it. We killed it. So that's ultimately right. Getting you guys out in the field, getting you guys confidence so you can go make phone calls, booking appointments, closing deals, serving families, then ultimately getting paid. And it's like, yeah, man, it rocks. And that's what makes this time valuable to me, the couple hours that you commit to your financial future. So I want to be as serious about this as you are. I certainly do not take it lightly. So I do appreciate your participation, that you have a dream in your heart that you want to pursue, that you want to change your life for the better, and that maybe you think I might be able to help you do it. I hope so. I hope I can earn that trust, and that we give you some good stuff so you can go out there and rock and roll. So anyway, having said that, let's jump into it. So let me see. We got 15 on. So what I was going to do is I was going to kind of tie yesterday and today with sort of a check down list, and it's kind of like so we're still kind of in the product section. We're warming up now, so we're warming up to get to the phone call, the phone dialing, which in my opinion is probably one of the most important things that you need to learn getting started with us. It is the vital skill that you need to get up to speed quickly so you can get out on appointments, because you can't close a deal unless it's booked. So this is like, I've said this for 20 years, that if there's anything you want to concentrate on, it's not product, it's not the in-home sales system, it's mastering booking appointments, okay? And the thing about appointment booking is that it is something that it's hard to gauge how good or bad you are, because you got to get started. And so we really just want you to get started, and then we'll tweak you along the way. So what I love about the skill of booking appointments is you can't expect too much out of yourself, even though you have an urgency of wanting to go on appointments, but you got to get out there and do it. You just have to get started. You got to start where you are and just hit the phones. We're going to tweak you along the way to where you're going to hit the numbers and the averages. But just know this for a fact, that we all started from square one before we even made our first dial, to making our first dial, second, third, 100th dial, 500th dial, and all along the way got better and better and better. So, and then you're going to hit your stride and things are going to be good, but you got to be committed to putting the work in. The phone skill is something that you earn. You can't do it magically, suddenly be good at dialing the phone and booking appointments. This is something where you just have to go through the school of hard knocks and get through it. It's kind of like boot camp. If any of y'all been in the military, man, you got to go through boot camp. Going to the Air Force Academy, I had to go through boot camp at the Air Force Academy, and it was not fun, but it was definitely worth it. Okay, so anyway, so let's go back to kind of talk about product. We talked about the map of the products, where you got the 4-quadrant map and kind of mapping out the different products from each company that fit into those quadrants, the initial products that you need to be concerned about starting out, all right? So we went over the underwriting tools you have at your disposal, alliancequoting.com. We learned how to get your PIN number, your NAA PIN number. I'll tell you what, some things are just valuable, even though they may not seem like a big deal, but I'll tell you what, you're gonna thank me when you're in front of a client panicking about your NAA PIN or trying to do a CFG quote, and it's like, oh, thank God Alex showed me how to do that. You know? So anyway, Navy, rock on, man. I grew up in the Navy, Jeremiah. I'm a Navy brat, man. My dad's retired chief petty officer, which is why I was born in Morocco. We were born on a naval base. So anyway, so we gave you skills in terms of like what products and how products work, and a little bit, you know. The rest of it is, you know, you digging in. Once you book an appointment, then we'll help you and guide you with the right product. So and then hopefully y'all wrote an app on yourself, that you did the first team player step in our steps to success, the 8 steps to success, being your own best customer and having your own policy. And I'll show you tomorrow night when we show you how to run an appointment, why that policy that you wrote on yourself is your ticket to credibility with the client. It's incredible what we do with our own policies, because it's going to be the most important, one of the most important sales tools that you'll have in your briefcase, in your bag, all right? So let me finish off the product section by going through beat Navy. Yeah, go Air Force, beat Navy, right, Carlos? Go Army, beat Navy. Anyway, we're all brothers and sisters in the services. Okay, so let's rock the house on the check down. Okay, so you know, like I said yesterday, when presented with the scenario, you have to know what you're going to do, right? So so let's use a football analogy, man. It's 3rd down, 9 to go. You got 9 yards to get a first down, and it's like the 4th quarter, and you're behind by 6 points. Okay, and you got to decide what you're going to do. So, man, it's going to be a 3-step drop, boom, 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 and I've got this receiver. This tight end is like right there. I've got my wide out that's 20 yards down the field. I mean, and then I got my running back coming out of the backfield as a kind of a safety. It's like really quick, right? Boom, boom, boom. Right, and you got to know how to check down from receiver to receiver to receiver to find the open person that gives you a chance to make the play. Well, the same thing works with product. So I'm going to give you that scenario of the check down list so you can kind of really figure it out in your head, the thought process, at least that I go through, in depending on the type of lead, okay? So let's go ahead and share the screen. All right, man. I love it, man. You know I'm watching the chat line because that's how you can communicate to me in real time when you have a question. All right, so let's do this, man. Let's rock. Let's get into it. Let's jump in. Let's get some knowledge. All right. So here we go. A lot of the decision making. So this is almost like a decision tree. Really, it's a decision tree. And the decision tree begins with the type of lead that you booked. So going back to those leads. Actually, this is probably a good scenario. So here are 2 mortgage protection leads. You got kind of an older lead, born in 1950, 1953. They have a $100,000 mortgage. Then you have this couple born in 1960, which my age. Okay, so this is like I'm 58. So these are like 58-ish, 57, 58. And these are 67 or 68, this couple here. And their mortgage is 60,000. Now remember, these might be second mortgages, right? It might be a second mortgage to a larger mortgage. And that's an important thing to find out on the phone if they have any other mortgages other than this one. So this is triggered by either a refinance. These mortgage protection leads are triggered by whatever loan. So it could be a refinance. It could be actually an equity line of credit. And the client will send it in just because of an equity line of credit. So don't let the small number deceive you, particularly because this is in Mason, Ohio. So if any of y'all know Mason, Ohio, that's some pretty nice houses out there. Okay, so so mortgage protection lien. So what do you do in this scenario? That is a question. Here's an example of a new marriage lead where, and I know you can't read it. It's not, really, I really don't want you to read it, but this is kind of the format of it. And this is a 30-year-old and a 29-year-old looking to get some kind of life insurance based on their recent marriage, right? This here is a final expense lead card that's been, this is a PDF form, right, electronically. And they've got age 51 and 54. So this is, not middle age per se, but, younger than senior, okay, client age for final expense. This is a mortgage protection call-in. So someone called in from our lead, and this person was born in 1984, all right? So what is that, 35 years old? 34, 35 years old, middle age, okay? So when you're booking these appointments, it's not important so much as the type of lead until you book the appointment. Once you book the appointment, then, hey, let's look at the lead. I have people all the time, they get their first set of leads, and then they stare at them and study them. They study them, and they try to put this whole backstory to each one. It's like, dude, you're wasting your time. The most important client is the one that you book an appointment with, and then we study the lead. So when we studied the lead, after we booked it, there's sort of this check down list in my mind of what I'm going to, what's my game plan depending on the type of lead. So, for example, so let's start with the mortgage protection lead. Okay. The first thing I think of, according to our product line, is I'm going to think of simplified issue term, a simplified issue term product. And yesterday we went over the CFG Safe Shield product. I'm going to think about that product first. Just automatically, you tell me it's a mortgage protection lead, I'm going to think about simplified issue term. Okay. Now, if they're older, if they're an older client, like in their late 60s, mid 60s and beyond, then I may just go straight to whole life. For example, the CFG Dignified Choice product, and I'm going to implement a thing called mortgage payment protection. So I'm going to get them, because the term product probably doesn't make as much sense for them because they could potentially outlive it. The most term they can get is a 10-year or 15-year term. They could outlive that, and it's pretty expensive. If they want to cover 100, 150,000, I mean, you're talking maybe $500-700 a month. So rather than give the client a heart attack, we're going to talk about mortgage payment protection, where we give them, give the spouse, the remaining spouse, the surviving spouse, money for mortgage payments, money to buy time. It could be 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, 24 months, however much they can afford, but then we're going to write it with a whole life so we know that that policy is going to be in place throughout the rest of that person's life. And it's much more affordable option than covering the entire thing in a term product, okay? I'll talk a little bit about how we do that in the home in terms of putting a proposal together. And then there's also the consideration of underwriting. If they have a heart problem, they can't get this. And then in some cases, they got some serious health issues. They can't qualify for whole life, in which case then we go to guaranteed issue whole life. And this is the Great Western Insurance Company, or AIG, okay? So with the mortgage protection, we look first at simplified issue term, check down to whole life, check down to guaranteed issue whole life, all right? There are no joint policies. We don't do joint policies. There are no joint policies. We just do each individual policy for each client. Those kind of joint life, survival, second to die policies have gone really out of style because it just isn't a good value for the client. By the way, mortgage payment protection is a strategy, it's not a product. We use a product to implement the mortgage payment protection strategy. So it could be whole life. Actually, you can do mortgage payment protection strategy with a simplified issue term as well. Okay. Quote tools have a selection box for these products. Each product is the product. So like yesterday, we went over Dignified Choice Whole Life with CFG. That is the product that we're going to implement in this particular strategy by giving them whole life. This is that CFG Safe Shield product that we went over, the first product we went over. That's what you would do here. So it's not like, you know, here's the thing, you got to really don't get, I had someone fall into this trap and then it really totally screwed them up. There's a difference between product and approach. The product is not the approach, and the approach is not the product. Okay, this will screw you up, man. If you go down this wrong road, man, you're going to be in purgatory of product training, and it's going to totally screw you up. It'll take you forever to get the hell out of it. Like seriously, Jeremiah, I'm glad you're asking me these questions because I had a guy that kind of just, he couldn't get the whole, he couldn't understand this idea. So I'm going to take time to help you understand this, okay? We have mortgage protection leads. We have final expense leads. I'm going to use the abbreviation. We have new marriage leads. Okay, those are like the 3 lead categories. We have general insurance leads. Okay, people looking for general insurance. We have TV final expense leads. Okay, these are all the reasons why people send in the lead. Okay, does that make sense? It's the reason they sent the lead in, but it does not necessarily dictate the product. That's why I'm going through this check down, because I want you need to understand this. You'll be so mucked up on this thing if you don't understand the difference between the reason why they sent it in and then the product we're going to apply in that situation. Does that make sense? Okay, so like here's a great analogy. Here's an analogy. I don't know if it's going to be a great one. Only you will determine. So you go to a dealership and you're looking for a fuel efficient car, right? You want a car that gets great gas mileage, okay? So you walk in and say, I want a car that gets great gas mileage, all right? Now, there's a whole bunch of cars that get great gas mileage, but what does great mean? Does great mean 50 miles per gallon? Are you talking about an SUV that gets great gas mileage, that gets 30 miles per gallon, which is actually an SUV that gets 30 is pretty good. In your mind, you're thinking, well, I want, right? So like the fact that the client wants something does not necessarily dictate automatically an electric hybrid or an electric vehicle. Okay, does that make sense? Client comes in, I want a fuel efficient car. Oh, you must want a battery car. You must want an electric vehicle. Here's an electric vehicle. And the client's going, I don't know. Do you see what I'm saying? When someone turns in a mortgage protection lead, the automatic thing is, okay, I can get you CFG Safe Shield. That's the product because it's a mortgage protection product. Okay? No, there's a big difference between the reason they sent it in and the product that we're going to give them. Because certain products won't fit them because they're not healthy enough. Okay? So the type of lead is the need. Wow, that rhymes, man. The type of lead is the need. The cure can be a whole different set of cures, depending on, like, for example, if a client, if a patient comes in and they stepped on a nail, right? And immediately you're thinking, you know, I'm going to give him antibiotics. But what if he's allergic to sulfa medications? The sulfa medications could kill him, right? So we can't use this particular drug because it's going to kill that client or that patient, right? Am I making am I making any sense? I hope I am. So the cure might be a whole bunch of different things. It could be simplified issue term. It could be whole life. It could be guaranteed issue whole life. It could be accidental death benefit. It could even be a universal life or an index universal life, right? It could be, maybe it's a combination of two of them, right? So it's not, you don't like our robot saying, this maps to here, this maps to here, this maps to here, this maps to here, and you can't go outside the lanes, all right? So the lead is the need. The cure is the, I should come up with some rhyme with cure. Anyway, go into my songwriting mode. Now I'm thinking about a rhyme for cure. Anyway, so this is actually an example of that. Is here is the need. This is the checklist for the cure, the RX. Okay. So mortgage protection, the first thing we look at is, because it's mortgage protection, we'll look at a simplified issue term, but sometimes we'll start here because they can't qualify for this or they're too old. Okay, so that tends to be the reason why we start with whole life, is they're either too old, that it doesn't make sense to do this, or they're too sick. They can't qualify for this. Then we jump here. Okay, does that make sense? So too old or too sick, and then this is if they're too sick, period. If they're too sick for this, then we go here, all right? Wow, you know, I'm explaining this better this time around than last week. So you guys, man, you're getting the good stuff this week. I feel sorry for those guys last week. Anyway, I'm just kidding, I think. Okay, so the final expense lead, these are the people looking for burial insurance. Okay, let's just draw a line. This is simple because it's either whole life or guaranteed issue whole life, and we do this because they're too sick. Does that make sense? Very simple. Final expense lead, you know, potentially here. Now, when you're in the home and they sent in the lead to cover their final expense, and you discover when you're talking to them, by the way, I mean, do you still have a mortgage? Yeah, I got a mortgage. Have you protected that mortgage also? What do you mean protected? Well, Joe, when you die, will Mary have to shoulder the burden of the mortgage payment? Oh, I didn't know. Do you guys sell that kind of insurance? Absolutely, we do that too, right? So we will take care of their first thing, and then we'll go back and take care of the second thing. You see how like it's really, really important to like be open to opportunity, because you got your radar up for what they need. Like their first need they sent in may only be the tip of the iceberg of the other needs they might have. Meaning, like if it's mortgage protection, hey, by the way, have you taken care of your burial, right? And then we look for annuity opportunities. Hey, by the way, that 401k in your previous company, did you happen to move it into anything yet? Ding, 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 annuity opportunity. Hey, let me ask you, how are you doing on your retirement planning? Ding, 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 Index Universal Life, right? Now you're going to have the opportunity to learn the other things you can do, but just, you know, having the notion that you have a toolkit in front of you, that when the opportunity presents itself by asking questions, and you're there to serve that need. We're not pushing anything on anybody because that's not our style. We're not, you know, trying to go after the big, you know, we're not elephant hunters, right? You know, we'll take the mouse, we'll take the chicken, we'll take, I'm sorry, but that's bad. My daughter would kill me for that. She's a vegetarian. And she's a vegetarian for philosophical, moral reasons, because she doesn't like killing animals. Oh, man. Anyway. You know, we're not elephant hunters. Poor elephants. I wouldn't be one anyway, man. I like elephants. Reminds me of Dumbo. Anyway. Final expense is easy. That's simple. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Okay, new marriage lead. This is where you got to be really like flexible. It can be anything. Like remember when you guys got married, when you and your spouse got married, you know, eventually you kind of got the idea that, you know what, I'm pretty dependent on her income, or I'm kind of dependent on his income. Like both our incomes together, we have this great lifestyle, but if someone dies, you know, if he or she dies, then man, I'll tell you what, man, it does happen. Like, I remember sitting down with a newly married couple, and I was talking to the wife, and I was going into the pain process, going, well, tell me, what was on your mind when you filled this form out? And she told me this story that you will not believe. So they just got married, and they moved in the next week. They got married and moved into their new home the next week. And the husband got a lawnmower, a riding lawnmower, and he was mowing his lawn, and part of his lawn is on a hill. And so he put the mower and got the mower up on the hill, and the riding lawnmower fell back on it. It tipped over and killed him. The next week after they got married, moving into their new house. And I'll tell you what, man, she was all about getting life insurance right now. You know what I'm saying? Like she just was urgent. And, but that's crazy, isn't it? That could happen. And it's seriously, that's why we're urgent about taking care of people. So the new marriage lead, you got to be kind of open for what they're looking for. So in asking questions, you got to be ready to do a simplified issue term, or a whole life, or a universal life. Okay, you got some options just depending on, you know, when we ask them questions. Okay, so that's a new marriage lead. So these are kind of the three lead types, basic types. The general insurance lead also is like this, you know, general insurance. You're gonna have people that just, you know, and then you're just have to ask them, you know, kind of where they're leaning by asking questions such as, so tell me what you were thinking when you fill this out. Well, I'm really big on burial insurance because when my dad died, he didn't have it. And man, we were in a world of hurt. Okay, well, let's take care of that. I'm not, look, when we go in there, we're not trying to get them to buy everything, because when you start showing them 30 different products and we can cover your term, and we can cover your permanent insurance, we can cover this and that, they go into like they go into shutdown mode, and they go into think about it mode. We want to just cover the first thing, and then we'll come back and get the other one. So we close the thing that they're most interested in, and then we'll go back and get the other one. Like, don't get greedy, man. Be very meticulous in creating the relationship and trust And don't be like, man, act like you've been there before, brother, sister. It's like, when they say, oh, I haven't thought about covering my mortgage. Awesome. We got great products for that. But right now, let's take care of the first thing that you're looking for. Then I'll come back and we can take care of that need later. Okay, let's just make sure that you're comfortable with what we're doing with you. And let's just take care of this thing first. Does that make sense? Don't be like like, oh man, I'm going to get rich on this appointment. Well, then you start sounding like a money-grubbing salesperson, commission breath salesperson, and then all of a sudden you lose trust with the client, man. Just be cool. Act like you've been there before. It's like there isn't plenty of time, but there's plenty of time to continue the relationship and gain their trust. It's called strip lining. Do we got any fisher people out there? Trying to be politically correct. Strip lining is when you're fishing and then you see your bobber go down, or you see your fishing pole kind of do this. And like most inexperienced fishermen will get, oh my gosh, they just start yanking. The problem is when they start yanking, they yank the hook out of the fish's mouth and the fish is gone. You got to strip line. So you got to strip line. You got to give the fish a chance to swallow that hook. So you strip line, give them line, let them run. Let them run with it. Get them to swallow that hook deep in their mouth, and then you pull them in, right? Then you pull them in. Oh man, these are violent. These are violent analogies. Oh man, I'm sorry for all you PETA people out there. Anyway, does that make sense? Don't go after all of it, and then you'll have everything that you can do to serve that client. All right. Remember, our whole thing is serving people, right? We're not after commission. We're after the mission. It's mission before commission. If we're after the mission of service, then the commission will come as a measurement of our value. Does that make sense? Make an impact on someone else's life. So anyway, sorry to get so deep. What is in this water, man? I'm drinking some integrity water here or something. Is there a quote tool for the whole life or just term? Man, there's a quote tool for everything, man. There are quote tools for all this stuff. Anyway. Okay, so now these are like based on product. Now there are situational things that will dictate a particular product, like an exact product. And so if you got someone who's their height and weight, and in other words, they're like 5'9" both ways. They're too short for their weight. How about that? Okay, they're morbidly obese, where they go off the charts. They go off the charts on all these products. They're off the charts except for guaranteed issue whole life. Okay, now we can't. This is pretty expensive, by the way. Guaranteed issue whole life. Okay, but there's a step below that where we can get them something more affordable if they're in the right age range. So, height and weight plus, they're just too short for their weight. The product that will cover them, if they're between ages 45 to 85, is Transamerica Whole Life, because there are no height and weight tables between 45 to 85. So this is an awesome product, and it's really our only product. AllianceQuoting.com. Jeremiah, you go to AllianceQuoting.com. Always go to AllianceQuoting.com. It has all the quoting tools for all the products, whole life, term, whatever it is. Okay. So height and weight, Transamerica Whole Life, and then, obviously you can also go to guaranteed issue whole life. But if you can get them something cheaper per thousand, might as well do Transamerica Whole Life. And this is graded too, by the way, so the full benefits aren't available. Another situation. Are all the companies AAA rated? All the companies are at least A rated. By the way, Donald, in my 20 years and thousands of clients, in my 20 years of doing this, I've never had a client ask me what the rating of a company is. Do you know that the rate, now you might have, I mean, certainly that might come up, but all our companies are at least A rated. And the only time rating makes a difference is for an agent. The clients almost really don't care. They don't even know, they're not smart enough typically to even ask that question. I've never been asked that question. And in the rare instance that you're asked that question, the answer is absolutely, they're A-rated companies. The only time you ever get worried is a B-rated company, okay? This is a simplified issue. All our whole life products are simplified issue. It doesn't require any blood or urine tests. So that's our go-to product for height and weight. Okay, Social Security card, debit card, the Express card, debit. You're going to find that, final expense and whole life are synonymous. Social Security debit card, there are only 3 companies that can handle that. So if you find out that their method of payment, that's how they make their money, that's how they get their money from Social Security. The only companies that you can cover with a Social Security debit card is Transamerica Whole Life and Great Western Insurance Company for the guaranteed issue, and AIG. All right, none of our term products will do Social Security debit cards. So that's going to be an important question. By the way, I mean, do you usually access your Social Security through the Express debit card? Then you know kind of which way to go with that. And then I'm just going to make a general statement. Some of the other carriers are friendly to non-citizens. So this is the non-citizen. The non-citizen with a tax ID number. All right. You know, green card holders are really kind of considered, they're in the same category as citizens as far as insurance companies go. But really the company that I would consider when you're looking at immigration situation is CFG, tends to be our best company. There are other companies that, you know, depending on their status, that could do it, but CFG is the one I go to because I don't got to think about it, okay? There are other nuances, like if you've got someone with COPD and Parkinson's, Transamerica Whole Life. That's why on our backup website, I'm going to give you that, the website that has all, like tomorrow I'll give that to you, that has all the information I'm talking about on these 3 boot camps sessions, that you can reference all the videos, all the downloads. It has like everything that'll back up everything I'm saying. To much more depth. Okay, you could get lost in it, but I don't want you to. That's why I'm going to give it to you tomorrow. But by the way, having said that, I only have like 11 people on my email blast list for this bootcamp team that we're covering this week. So if you haven't signed up for the email blast, that's the only way you're going to get the links to all the videos that come out of this bootcamp. And I'm going to give you all, I'm going to email blast all the links that I've been talking about. So you need to sign up on that email blast. If you haven't yet, you need to go to abnfinancial.com, just my basic website. Scroll to the bottom, and there's a button that says Bootcamp Email Blast, I think, something like that. It's on the bottom left. It's a button you click on, and then you can sign up for my email blast, and then you have to go back and reconfirm that you want an email from me in your email, all right? So that's how you do that. So here it is. Let's see questions. Move accidental death is fine for non-citizens too. You just need an extra form. Oh yeah, okay. So accidental death, non-citizens. This is the Mutual of Omaha. Thanks, Joe. Accidental death, you can do. What if they have a POA? POA. What's a POA? If you're on the previous list, yes, if you're on the previous list, each boot camp is its own list because I'm going to cancel the list. I'm going to dissolve that list. So it's only like short-term email blast. So if you want the email blast for this session, Jeff, you got to sign up for the email blast for this session. All right. And I'm probably going to give you all the same, except the links. So the video links are going to be different. It's going to be this session's links, not last session's links. So that's what you're going to get that's different from last week. Oh, power of attorney. Oh, yeah, that's right, power of attorney. Oh, yeah, power of attorney. Yeah, that gets a little sticky, the power of attorney thing. I believe they're very stringent on power of attorney. The client has to sign their life insurance application, okay? Even if they may not have the mental capacity to do it. I think AIG, might have, I think AIG will do power of attorney, but most all the other carriers, the insured has to sign it, which is a very important thing because a client cannot write insurance cannot get a policy on their spouse without the spouse knowing about it and signing for it. And you'll have situations, well, can I just write a policy on my husband? I never see him, and we're splitting up, but I'll pay for it. Can I get it? It's like, well, if he signs it, then we can get it. So the insured has to know about it. They got to sign it legally, right? No one can just take an out policy on someone that they don't know about. Does that make sense? All right, so I've gotten way too long on here, but that's the check down list. So that's finishing up our product training. And then we're going to get into the whole idea of booking appointments. That sounds like they're looking for a payday. And watch old film, double indemnity. Okay, let's kind of keep it to relevant topics. Okay, so that is that. Let's talk about the phone call. All right, so the phone call, let's talk mindset and attitude of the phone call. The objective on a phone call is to book an appointment. It is not to sell the policy over the phone. If there's any selling going on, it is us selling the client to sit down with us, okay? It's, you know, because we have to drop off some information. We got to get them some information. It takes about 15, 20 minutes. That's the whole idea. No matter what they say or do or objections, the idea is to sell the appointment. If we can get in front of them, then that's where all the good goo-goo juju stuff, goo-goo dolls, that's where all the good goo-goo juju stuff happens, is when we get face-to-face. We don't sell over the phone, although there are certain situations where we can do that with like a referral of a family member that's in another state. We have 2 carriers that will let us do that, but we are not going to, you know, the idea is to get in front of them because that's where the relationship is built, right? I mean, imagine, you know, Yeah, okay, you just got to get in front of them. That's the purpose. The mindset is, I got to get in front of this person. I got to get with them. I got to get, we got to get together, right? And from mentality perspective, these people that turn in all these leads, I know it's kind of bright. These people need help. In fact, what some of our agents do is they write on the top of it, help me. Every lead is help me. Every client is help me. And so they write it on there. Why do they write it on there? Because they got to remember how important it is that we get in front of them, right? If there's any, well, Alice, I don't like to be pushy salesman. It's like, gang, your job is to care about the people that turn these in. And so you got to exercise a thimbleful of boldness and an urgency that we got to take care of them. We got to deliver this information to them. It takes about 15, 20 minutes. And then whatever they do with that information is up to them. My job is to get them the information, and whatever they do with it is up to them. It takes about 15, 20 minutes. Okay? So everyone says, help me, help me. Sometimes people don't know they need the help until you get a chance to get in front of them, then make them realize that they need to protect their families right now. All right? So that is the power you have being an agent with the Alliance, is that you're empowered by license, you're empowered by training, you're empowered by quoting tools, you're empowered by 15 different insurance carriers to go out there to protect families. Like imagine you're Batman and you got your utility belt, right? You got your utility belt, right? You know, people go, is Batman a real superhero? He doesn't got any powers. Gang, he has powers. He's got the power of the mind. He's got the power of his utility belt. And he's got a bad ASS motorcycle. That thing's killer. And his car rocks, and his helicopter and his submarine. Anyway, I'm a big Batman fan. I grew up on Batman, man. Anyway, you got your utility belt. You're out there to save people, even though they may not think they need saving. Yes, they do. They need to be protected, because if they die before they put the protection in place, they leave their families out in the cold. They lose their home. Their kids have no chance to go to a good college. All the bad stuff happens, right? And we're there to help them. And they set this in because they need help. And let me tell you how serious, yeah. This is how serious we take it. Okay, whatever your religious affiliation is, okay, but we have agents that pray over their leads. When they receive their leads and print them out, yes, we print them out. They'll pray over. They say, Lord, help me find the people and help me serve these people that you would want me to protect their families in the event of death or disability. Please help me do my job to get in front of them so I can do your will and protect them. They'll pray over them. That's how serious we take our responsibility. And it's not, like, I tell you what, you find the top producers, it's not to make money. We make money by serving. It's serving. I'm going to help these people. That's why they write down, help me, help me, help me. Okay, and I'm going to take everyone serious. Okay, that's the mindset. That's the mindset. I know that if I put the work in and if I put the dollars in, God's going to bless me with the people that are going to say, yes, why don't you come on over? And I might have to nudge the process a little bit, but it's a righteous nudging. I don't know if you ever heard that in a sales training before, but it's a righteous nudging in my humble but accurate opinion, right? There are so many stories of agents that sold their way into the appointment. The client, the spouse was against it. The husband said, come on over. By the end of the appointment, this is a real story. This story I'm telling you, this happened in Northern Kentucky with one of my agents. She insisted to come over. She said, I need to come over there. I need to protect you. And it was the husband. It's like, you ain't coming over here. She goes, well, I'm going to be over there. Well, you ain't coming over here. Well, I'm going to be over there, sir, because I think you really need to take care of this. She's got this bold personality. He said, well, okay, well, I don't know if I'm going to be here. Well, sir, I'm going to be there between 7 and 8 o'clock, and I'm here to help you. I'm going to come over to help you. Can your wife be there? Well, I can't promise she'll be here. They were like totally against her coming over. They were home, and so she walked in. She took care of them. She covered the husband, covered the wife. They were friends. They hugged her when they walked out. The next week, they had a fire in their house. Like the policies were issued, okay, like pretty quickly. So the policies were already issued. The next week, they had a fire in their house. Their house burned down. The husband died. The husband died. Do you think that she did her job, that she was insistent in protecting that family, and the fact that they were there and that she covered them? Do you think that, maybe God had something to do with that? I think so. I think that she believed enough in what she did in her profession to protect families. I mean, she's the ultimate bat girl. Know what I'm saying? That stuff happens, man. That's why we take this serious. Our mindset and attitude is, I need to go out there and protect these families. I'm not going to let the fear of picking up the phone prevent me from finding another family to protect them from those situations of tragedy. Because it does happen, man. You're in this business long enough. You're going to call someone on these leads, and you're going to find that the other person, one or the other, the husband or wife, died already by the time you called them. I promise you that will happen, and it'll happen to you several times a year, if not at least once a month. Like, I'm telling you what, all you agents that are already out there, you know what I'm talking about. You know it has happened to you, and it might have just happened to you last week. Like, if you're, seriously, and it's like, oh my gosh, you don't even know what to say. It's like, oh my gosh, ma'am, I don't know what to say. I'm sorry. Listen, it sounds to me like we didn't get to you in time, but, do I need to do something for you? That something should happen to you? Like, somebody just say, oh, hold on, I'll call you back 3 months later, let you get over it. No, man, he died. Let's see if we can take care of her before something happens, right? Yeah, they both need to be there, brother, sister. There are no one-legged appointments. Even if you get to the house, you find the wife is not there, it's like, oh, man. Tell you what, let's book another time where you're both here. But Alex, you're not going to just go in and give them their prices and possibly close the husband? Are you kidding me? That you're setting yourself up for failure. You got to respect your business enough that you're not going to walk in there and be a beggar, right? We're not going to beg for a sale, and it rarely happens on a one-legged appointment, all right? I don't care if you drove 3 hours to get there. You just go out and take your other leads and door knock the rest of the night. By the way, I don't know that I would recommend you go out for one appointment driving 3 hours away, but that notwithstanding, am I getting through to you as far as the attitude and mindset? So important what we do here, gang. So important. All right. So we pick up the phone and take care of these people. Okay. We do it. Now you have to have, so what do you need? What do you need to start getting good at this? Number one, you need a script. Number two, you need leads. And number three, you need skill. You need a script, you need leads, you need skill. How do you get skill? You get skill by using the script and practicing the script before you actually get out there and call clients, right? It's insane. Sometimes when agents, it just cracks me up that the agents will practice on their clients on a lead, on a bonus lead. I don't care how old the lead is. It's like, seriously, dude? Did you go into finals in high school without studying? I know some of y'all did. Now, I was like number 2 in my high school. Okay, I didn't get valedictorian. Every time I bring this up, man, it brings bad feelings. You know why I didn't get valedictorian? Because I got a B in PE, in basketball. And I was on the varsity basketball team. And the reason I got a B in PE was because I would cuss and swear when I wasn't killing the other team by 20, 30 points. I was a perfectionist. And the gym teacher was so mad that I couldn't control my mouth that he gave me a B. The only B I got in high school. And the Chinese girl who beat me got straight A's. I was just like really mad. Anyway, why did I say that? Oh, I said that because I don't know. Anyway, the point is that it'll come back to me. Oh, skill. You earn your skill. You got to pound the phone. You got to practice. You got to study. You got to study. You got to practice. I'm not talking about 3 months before you go out and make a dial, but you got to get out there. I was fanatical about doing my homework. I was fanatical about being prepared. Okay, I did everything in my power to be prepared. Now, again, it doesn't take you 3 weeks to get prepared. It takes you a few hours of practicing your script, calling friends and say, hey, your brother, and say, hey, man, I'm working on my insurance phone booking script. Can you just listen to me, please? So I'm going to call you back and pretend like you sent in this form, and then I'm going to do my thing and just let me know how I'm doing, okay? Just kind of answer, right? And then practice on them. Practice on your upline. Practice on your dog, your cat, your spouse. You got to get this script out of your mouth, right? And it has to get natural. Even though you're going to be nervous the first time you do it, you got to practice, man. Don't do this half-ass. Like, be serious about it. Like, I mean, if you got married, what'd you do? You got married, you went to rehearsal, right? Most important day in your life, one of the most important days in your life, you went to rehearsal. You have to rehearse. You got to practice, man. I've been on stage acting. I've been on industrial films. I had to know my lines. You got to know your lines, man. Don't treat this like a hobby, because if you treat this like a hobby, you're going to get hobby income. You know what I mean? Treat this like a professional, that you actually care enough about working on your skill, all right? So the one thing about practicing your script is to read it out loud. Read it out loud like 50 times. Like, seriously, 50 times. Read it out loud so it gets in your head, right? So that you almost have it memorized. Okay, you're not trying to memorize it, but you've done it so much, you've almost memorized it. You got to read it. You got to get comfortable with the words coming out of your mouth. All right. Now, I'm not an advocate of you changing up the script to some crazy thing. I am an advocate of you making it your own and using your personal idioms that define you, but don't make it so crazy that the script is no longer the script. You stick to the ideas that we put in the script. Now, the script, it is kind of a guideline, but it's an important guideline not to mess with. There's a reason why we do everything, and I'm going to show you that. Okay. Here's another thing: as you get your skill level up, is that you've got to record yourself making phone calls. You got to hear yourself doing it, playing it back. When you practice, you got to record yourself on an MP3 recorder, or whatever recorder you have, your smartphone, whatever it is. I don't care if you got an old cassette recorder. You know, some of y'all know what I'm talking about. For all young people, Wikipedia what a cassette is. Listen to yourself back. And I've had many agents tell me, oh my God, it was so terrible. I wouldn't book an appointment with me. Right? You need to listen and play it back. I mean, I'm serious, man. This phone calling skill is vitally important for you to get out there. It is so. This is the gateway skill to making $1 million with us or $100,000 with us. It's the most important gateway skill to all the other skills, because the other skills will never happen unless you get this gateway skill mastered, or at least competent where you're actually booking appointments. You're not going to, I don't think you'll ever master it, right? Because it's, constant and never-ending improvement. Some of y'all know where that comes from. Can I? C-A-N-I. I'll take acronyms for 1,000. C-A-N-I. What is Anthony Robbins' constant and never-ending improvement? I know it's not right. I should have actually protested that grade, but anyway. Okay, so practice skill, record yourself, get a running buddy. Okay, so that's important skill part is the rehearsal. Here's another important, I can't emphasize this, oh my gosh. You will accelerate your learning curve on the phone call by 10 times when you can get to a dial team. In other words, these hotspot meetings, the agents will get together and they'll do dial sessions where new people can come and listen to them book appointments. Now on our bootcamp website, we have like 4 different dial sessions that have been recorded on video, and one is just an audio recording where you can actually hear agents live dialing clients. Okay, and that's kind of the next best thing. But the best thing is to get around the agents doing dial teams. So that's why you want to go to a hotspot meeting, so you can be in the know of when they're doing the next dial team. Now, for example, if you're in a hotspot where they don't do dial teams, then find out who the top agent is, tell them you'll buy them lunch, and then, hey, can I listen to you make dials? And they'll invite you over to their house if that's where they do it, and you just sit there quiet, take notes. You're not looking for a lot of coaching. You're there just to listen. If they can coach you, great, but they're making money when they're on the phone, gang. You make money on the phone. So this is wealth position. This is broke position. The more you're in wealth position, you're going to make money. The more you have the phone down, not active, is broke position. All right? Boom. What's kind of the minimum standard? Well, there are no minimum standards, but if you can dial 250 times a week, if you can get through that every week, man, you'll rock the house. You will learn how to be a top producer if you're pounding the phone that many times. Now, each lead, we dial each lead 3 times. 3 times in a row if we can't get them to pick up the phone. We dial, you get a voicemail, right? Then we click, we wait a few seconds, hit redial, do it again, click, wait 2-3 seconds, dial, do it again. 3 times each, then we go to the next lead. But Alex, that sounds like you're badgering the client. No, we aren't. It's amazing how imagine it's a senior client and the phone rings. They don't have a cell phone. It's like their landline. It's like ring, 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 ring. And they're just getting into their walker. All of a sudden it hangs up. They're like, oh. And then they sit down again. And then it rings again. It's like, oh, we get in their walker. They move. And then, it stops. And finally, they're over there. The third time you dialed it, they're like right there, okay? That's kind of the image I have in my head. Does that make sense? 3 times. Well, Alex, why can't just 1 time work? If they're not home, they're not home. Oh my gosh, dude. You're talking to Mr. Numbers. So I tracked one of my agents, and I tracked her, and I said, Tanisha, I want you to track which dial the client picked up, okay? And of those clients that picked up on the 2nd or 3rd dial, I want you to tell me how much premium you wrote in that house. So there's people that picked up the first time through and the people that picked up in number 2 and 3. And that month she wrote $16,000 in premium, okay? Do you know that half her premium 8,000 came from people that picked up the second or third time. Okay, so you can fight me if you want, or you can listen to me and be rich. All right. I love those numbers. I love proving people wrong by evidence. Anyway, that's probably why I'm into numbers. So no one could shake my tree. So we dialed 3 times in a row, and that counts as 3 dials. Okay, that counts as 3 dials. So when you're talking 250 dials, oh man. Yay! One of my guys that came back from Alliance certification training wrote up a family tonight. Oh man. Oh, crap. I wish I could have checked these texts, but oh my God. Seriously? Oh, people can't get to the Zoom link. They can't get on this boot camp. It's the same Zoom link that I sent them before. Golly, man. We're already an hour into it, so crap. All right. Catholic guilt gets in the way. What can I do, man? All right. So, 3 times. Dial 3 times. So $250, you dial, that's what, 80 shots of people? 250 divided by 3. So that's 83 different people you're trying to get a hold of. Actually, $250 means not one time through. It's like you might have like 25 leads, right? And one day you're going through them 2 or 3 twice. Next day, another time during the day, right? You're going through them again. By the time you're getting leads over weeks and weeks, you're going to have hundreds of leads that you haven't resolved, and you're going to have plenty to dial through. Typically, the rate per dial is like 35 to 50 per hour. Yeah, we do have agents that rock it with 50 dials. They'll do 50 dials to go boom, 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 you know, they got headsets on, right? So our top agents are dialing at the rate of 50 an hour. You know, if you're brand new, you probably can expect 25 to 35 an hour dials. Do you see how very statistical the business is? You can expect, depending on leads, you can probably book maybe 3 appointments an hour. You know, if you're brand new, maybe it's 1 or 2. If you're experienced and you're getting a lot of A leads, the fresh leads, you actually, to book 20 appointments, you're probably only dialing 150 times, and you're booking, you know, maybe 70% of the people you're talking to. Okay, again, by working on it, you'll get better and better and better. But we just got to get you to the point and prepare you to the point where you're getting some level of success of booking appointments. All right, and that's why practice. Right, you got to have the leads. You got to have a script. And you got to develop the skills. So we're still in the develop the skill part, okay? So let's hammer the script. I'm going to show you kind of the philosophy of our script, and then there's a lot of different scripts out there. Like anybody else's script, NAA script, I'm okay as long as they're a producer with the Alliance. I'm okay using their script, all right? Again, it's not so much the script as it is how you use the script, okay? It's kind of like, you know, if you're doing Shakespeare. If you're doing Shakespeare, one actor will kill it while another actor sucks reading the same script, right? So the magic isn't as much the script as it's the person using it and their attitude and mindset and how they're doing it. I could take anybody's script and I can make it work, right? That's kind of how you know you've got the skill set. So let's dig in, and I'll tell you why things are in it. And this script, compared to last week we didn't have any objections. And this week we put a ton of objections in there, which I don't want you to freak out about all the objections, but I want you to understand as you read through the objections, the objection handling is about asking questions, getting the client to engage with you. The longer you can get them to engage with you by having a conversation, the percentage chance goes up of you getting into that house. I mean, it just starts going through the roof the longer you have them on the phone, right? So let's dig into that because it's like 10:12. Okay. So how the script is laid out is, in fact, let me kind of draw it out first, actually. Kind of the elements of a script. I like to kind of show things in a way that's process-oriented. I'm a process-oriented guy. That's why, really, if I show you the process, you can come up with your own script, you know? So the way our script, well, the way most scripts is, there's the intro, because, you know, whenever you pick up the phone, you want to know why the person's calling. Who are they and why are they calling? There's the intro. I call it, like in our script, this is kind of our script. It's like validation. And the validation part is credibility, that you're not a telemarketer. There's validation. Then you book it. Okay, this is the drop-off information. Then you have the tie down. Make sure they're there. Okay, so the kind of the general process of the script is intro, validation, book the appointment, tie down, right? That's the process. So you can almost like do, you know, anything to this script process. Now, all along the way, you can have situations that come up that will bring up objections. And the way I look at objections is, the way that I think about objections is, to me, objections is just a way to lead me to booking the appointment. Like if I can answer the objection, or if I can get around the objection, I'm getting there. They're just a little bit, you know, it's kind of like you're playing Nerf war with somebody and you're dodging the darts, right, to get to the flag or whatever. That's kind of how I look at objections. I can sidestep it, I can get around it, you know, but I'm going to get in that house. I'm going to get there. I'm going to book that appointment. Does that make sense? So the tonality of it is, so that's the process. Let me give you sort of the tonality. So this is like, I'm going into director mode and you're the actor, okay? Which I have a lot of experience in: musical theater, regular theater, commercials, repetition. Amen, brother. Repetition. All right, it's called reps, actually. You know, it's like in football, man, you got to get those reps in, and that's what we're doing here, getting your reps in. So I'm the director, you're the actor now. You're the actor in my play. The play is called Making a Sale to a Client. Okay, and the first act is booking an appointment. And so in the first act, I'm going to direct you, and this is how you got to do it. Okay, so some of my best directors when I've been on stage have been ones to give me a mental picture of my situation, so that I can so he could bring out, or she could bring out the performance out of me, because I've got the right way of thinking about it. Do you see how that makes sense? How you think about it will come out in how you do it, right? And in acting, you're trying to get the client, I was going to say client, which is really, you're trying to get the audience to feel something in your performance. And it's interesting how different actors can say the exact same words, but the subcontext of the feeling they're creating can be totally different. And that's how you know very skilled actors or very skilled directors, they know what they want the audience to feel, and they're good at directing the actor, to bring that feeling out so that the audience will feel what the director's intending, okay? So now I'm the director, and I'm going to give you the visual on this. So here's how you start out the intro. Pretend that you're a bank employee. They pay you 50 grand a year. You got a stack of these clients that are sitting on your desk that have expressed an interest to talk to you about life insurance. Now, you don't get paid commission. You get paid a salary to go through all these people. And this is Friday afternoon, 4:50 p.m. Your boss will never let you get off early. And your boss is always looking at his watch, seeing if you're on the phone. He's looking at you, looking at his watch, to see if you're going to work and make calls all the way to book appointments all the way up to 5 o'clock. And you're sitting there going, oh, God, I've got these leads. Oh, man. Okay. My boss is looking at me. I better start making dials. I better start making dials. Okay. I'm not examining this in detail. All I see is a mortgage protection request, so I'm going to use the mortgage protection intro. Okay, and so you get it. It's like my whole attitude is, hello, Katisha, or it's hey, Katisha, hey, Katisha. I'm low, slow. I'm like, I don't have a whole lot of emotion. Okay, I don't want to sound like a telemarketer. What's a telemarketer sound like? Hey, Katisha, this is Alex. Wow, what a great day it is today. Man, I'm so glad I caught you on the phone. Wow, I have a unique opportunity for you to get mortgage protection on you and your family. I'm so excited that I finally got a hold of you. I can be over there. Do you see how, as opposed to, okay, and I'm giving you the other extreme. This is where I want you to be. Hello, Katisha. Is this Katisha? Hello, Katisha? Yeah, hey, Katisha. This is Alex. I'm with the Mortgage Protection Department, and I'm holding this form that you sent in. And first of all, I just want to make sure it's you. I have your birth date as March 8th, 1984. Is that correct? Okay, great. I've got, you put your height and weight here. It looks like 5'2", but I'm not sure if that 2 is a 1. I have you at, is it 5'1" or 5'2"? Oh, okay, 5'2", 260 pounds. Does that sound right? Okay. And the form you filled out here says that you're a non-smoker. Is that right? All right, cool. Okay, do you think that's a big difference? Like, I am the employee, like, just trying to get through to 5 o'clock. I'm just trying to process this request. I'm pleasant, but I'm not a jerk. I'm not overly boring, but I'm not too dynamic either. I'm just like low and slow. Low and slow. I'm just trying to relate to the client, but I don't know what kind of client this is. I don't know if they're going to be nice, they're going to be mean. So I try to remain as neutral as possible. Okay? So that's what I'm trying to do. Does that make sense? I'm not trying to be a telemarketer. I'm not a telemarketer. You know, I'm not a telemarketer. I'm just, here we go. You hear that sigh? It's like, okay. Hello, Katisha. Hello, Katisha. Hello, Katisha. Actually, what I gravitated to doing is doing the familiarity intro. Hey, Katisha. I mean, I make it sound like I'm like her ex-boyfriend. Well, actually, not ex-boyfriend. Okay, but I make it sound like I'm their buddy. You know, like I just saw them last week at a barbecue. You know, I'll kind of open up with that. Then I go into official, you know, kind of employee mode, trying to process this. I'm just trying to process this pre-application for mortgage protection. All right, does that make sense? So that's sort of the approach I start. And then as I warm up with them, as I start going through this process, so kind of generally you start low and slow, okay? That's just low, kind of a low voice, slow, almost monotone, right? Then as you start relating with the client, you do a thing called mirror and matching. Mirror and matching. This is mega important if you're trying to create rapport in the home. This is super important because people like people who are like them, right? And how can you be like them? You can be like them by matching the tonality of their voice, by matching their rate. This is probably the most important aspect of mirror matching is their rate, okay? Tonality, rate of speech, right? And then, okay, you don't totally match their accent, but you're not trying to sound totally foreign to them either. Okay, does that make sense? Like you're not, if you don't have a Southern drawl, but this lady has a deep Alabama Southern drawl, you're not trying to do that overly, but you're trying to match her words. Like y'all, okay, well I'll see y'all when I'll see y'all when I come over there. If they use y'all, then I'm using y'all. If they're from California, they use you guys. So I'll see you guys when I get there. Don't ever do you guys on a Southerner in Alabama because she'll be offended that you called her a guy. But if you're in California, you guys. If you're in Pittsburgh, it's yuns. I'll see yuns when I get Thursday night. Apu. Oh man, like do not mock anyone, okay? But the most important one is tonality and rate. So I'll make it simple. Do you know how when someone talks way too fast, it drives you crazy? Like you might have a normal rate of speech, but someone who talks really fast, they just like a mile a minute. That drives you nuts, doesn't it? So you don't want to start out a mile a minute unless they're a mile a minute. If they're a mile a minute, then you're a mile a minute. You have to speed up, gang. Why? Because have you ever talked to someone who talks in a very measured meter? They take forever to get to a point. They almost sound like they love the sound of their voice, and it is really, really slow. So do you hear how that person drives you nuts? Well, the person who speaks fast and you speak medium, you will drive them nuts because they're thinking, I can't believe this guy's just so slow. You see, it's really funny when you look at perspective. But the guy talks slow. If you slow your speech down, if you tend to speak fast, you got to do everything in your power to slow down to them. Even if you think you're slowing down, I promise you, you are not slowing down. You are not slowing down. It takes a lot of practice, but you got to mirror and match them. As soon as you kind of get a vibe on how they are, then you start mirror matching their rate and mirror matching their tonality. So for example, if it's a guy who's got a deeper voice, I'm not going to try to go unnaturally as deep as him. But I tell you what, I'm not going to talk up here. If he's got a low voice, I'm going to tend to go lower. Okay? Now, if you're a woman, right, don't go really high, just try to get a little bit lower. We're talking to degrees too. Okay, but here's the thing about you trying to do that. When you try to mirror and match, you're trying to create rapport. If you're making the effort, it will come through to them. They will you're going to hit a groove with them, I promise. But you got to work on that. This is so important when you're talking on the phone because you only have a short chance with someone on a phone to book that appointment. And if immediately you turn them off, you ain't booking that thing, gang. I don't care if it's an A lead or an RW lead that's 2 years old, man. You know what I'm saying? You have only a short, that's why you got to practice this. And then you got to practice doing the script really slow. Hey, Katisha. Hey, this is Alex. I'm with the Mortgage Protection Department. Okay, you got to practice it fast, slow, whatever. Like I'm telling you, man, in the scenarios you're running into. By the way, I don't know that I've ever taught the phone call this well. I'm really going into detail, man, because I want you guys to have a shot, man. All right. Mirror and matching, you got to get there. You got to get there with them because this is the only shot you have. All right. Does that make sense? So, okay. So that is the process. So let's go look at the script and kind of check it out, you know. Anyone else here? Reverberation. Oh. Okay. I don't know. I can't hear it, so I mean, I can't monitor it, so I have no idea if anyway. Okay. So let's go into the script. Hope that made sense. All right, let's pull out your Bibles. Let's go to John chapter 6. No, let's go to the phone script, man. So now you kind of understand how the flow is, how the flow of the script goes. So the intro really is the intro, okay? This is where you get the client to stay on the phone with you. And you're going to notice very similar approaches because, you know, people want to know who you are. So, hi, Joe. By the way, hesitations will kill you. That's another reason why you want to practice, because anytime you hesitate, man, is an opening for the client to come up with some objection that they wouldn't normally come up with. Oh, by the way, this is a psychological thing. If you have an objection in your head that you're afraid of, I promise you, you will project it into the client. The client will repeat that objection back to you. You're thinking, oh my God, I hope they don't say that you know, they're too busy. And something out of your voice will psychologically put in them, well, you know, we're really too busy. It's amazing how that works. So you cannot have fears in your head because you're going to project objections into your client. It'll happen on the phone. It'll happen in the home. I promise you. So you do not want to project objections. You got to like clean your head from crap. Every phone call is a new phone call. I don't care if you did not book your previous 30 contacts. Every client is a new client. It's not like this client you're calling consulted with all 30 of the people that said no, and you know, and then they called your client before you called and say, hey, Alex is going to call you, so tell him no. The easiest objection for him that he can't handle is we took care of it already. So make sure you say that. It's almost like what you're doing. Like, don't do that, man. Clean your palate. You know, like when you're doing wine tasting, clean your palate with sorbet, get your mind right, and call the next client. Have a very short memory, man. Short memory in this business. So newer mortgage protection, this is like an A lead or an A1. Hello, Joe. My name is Alex with the Mortgage Protection Department, and I'm holding a form that you filled out and signed requesting some information on paying off your loan in the event of death or disability. Like, I don't get him to say yes or no. Sometimes, well, okay, it just kind of depends on the client, actually. You know, because a lot of times what they're going to say after you do this is like, what is this again? You're going to get, what is this? Okay, I'm sorry, Joe. Okay, I'm with the Mortgage Protection Department, and you had filled out this form, and you signed it, and you put some information on here. And all I'm doing is I'm first need to verify the information you wrote on here. And then I go into verification mode. I immediately go into, Now, I have your birth date as 10/26/1980. Is that right? Okay, so notice what I did. I went from the beginning to capture their attention, and then I go immediately to verification, because the verification gives me credibility. The verification proves that I got something in front of me that has their personal information that they filled out, okay? I get to that credibility part right away as soon as I can, and I'm really kind of continuous. Okay, I don't try to hesitate, because hesitation will, kill you. Does that make sense? An old mortgage, this is like maybe 2 years old, 3 years old. Hello, Joe. Yeah, my name's Alex, and I'm a supervisor with the Mortgage Protection Department. And you probably don't remember this, but when you got your mortgage with Fifth Third Bank, and you were signing all these documents and shoved in front of you, you probably don't remember filling out a form having to do with paying off your mortgage in the event of death or disability. You might have actually filled it out after the mortgage signing, whatever the case is. Well, I'm holding that document in front of me now. Our records show that we haven't taken care of this for you. So first of all I need to do is verify the information so I know that it's you that I'm supposed to talk to. Boom, go to verify the information: birth date, height and weight, smoking status, etc. All right. Final expense lead, or a little bit, you don't got a lot of information on a final expense lead, but you do got enough information to verify that the client is the client. So, hello, Joe. My name is Alex, and I'm holding a form you filled out and signed requesting some information on final expense burial insurance. I know you probably don't remember it, but just to make sure I'm talking to the right person, it says here that you are 57 years old and your spouse, Mary, is 56. Is that correct? Okay, and then I go into verifying whatever information I have. And I have your address is 123 Anywhere Street in Xenia, Ohio. Is that right? Okay, great. I verify whatever I can verify on the type of lead that I'm given. Call-in lead, TV, I get more information. Does that make sense? So I'm just trying to go low and slow and get their attention so I can go to the verification to get to the credibility part of my script. Remember, the whole idea is when I ask questions, I'm in control. When I relinquish control and start answering their questions, then it's like all bets are off, man. My chances of booking the appointment start going down. It's kind of like, those win-loss meters, like when two teams are playing, it shows which team has a higher probability of winning. And then the other team, like they might be go close together, and then the lines start diverging, and the losing team starts going this way. Well, I promise you, man, when you are not asking questions and stay in control, you're going on the downward trend of that winning metric. I know probably only some of you know what I'm talking about, but anyway. So you're in information verification. Once you get here, man, you're in control. You're asking them questions. In their mind, they're thinking, oh, wow, maybe he does have a form in front of him, right? Well, I just need to verify the. So I have your birth date as, is that correct? Now, I have your height and weight as 5'9", 175 pounds. Is that right? And what I'm doing is I'm going through my lead, and I'm checking off. I'm literally checking off that is correct information, because you really do need to verify it, because some of this information might be bad. It might say 260, and that 2 is really meant to be a 1. And I'll even mess it up, even though I see it's a 2. That's a technique in and of itself. Like, for example, I show you here as 6 foot. It looks like 6'1", or it could be a 2. Are you 6'1" or 6'2"? The reason why I do that is so they know I have a piece of paper that they filled out in front of me that they actually wrote on. I'll say stuff like, man, I'm having difficulty reading your writing, but this is either a 3 or a 5. So were you born in 1953 or 1955? Do you see how that just like, that interaction makes it sound so much like you seriously have a piece of paper in front of you? Because you do. Even though you can read it as clear as day. Okay, it's another way to verify credibility that I've got the information that they sent in. All right. You check that you are a non-smoker. Is that correct? Now I have Mary's birth date is March 3rd, 1966. Is that right? Her height and weight. Do you see how, when you get them answering these questions, man, you are in total control. You're like boom, 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 boom. Validation, validation, validation. Credibility, credibility, credibility. Now I have your address at 2632 Montchateau Drive. This is where I start joking with them a little bit. I start to warm the client up. It's like 2632 Montchateau Drive. It sounds like in France. Cincinnati, Ohio. Is that address correct? Now, it's important to verify the address because this could be on the rental home, but they don't live in their rental home. They live in their main property, and you might go to their rental home, assuming that this address is where they live. So there is a purpose for verifying the information, all right? So you verify the information. Yeah, that's where we live. Okay, great. Now I show the loan amount as $100,000. Do you plan on paying that off in 30 years or 20 or shorter? Okay. Now here again, it's not just 100,000. I have your loan amount as 100,000. You plan on paying that off in 20 or 30 years. Okay. I don't even think I have this on the script, but I verify that. And they say, well, we're planning on paying that off in 15. Oh, okay, rock on. And by the way, is this the only mortgage you have on the house, or do you have other mortgages or line of credits attached to the house? You know, by the time I'm getting this information, man, I'm like almost there. Like I am in control of getting the information. Okay. Then it's like, now I've got credibility. Now it's like, let's book this sucker, man. It's assumptive. I assume they fill this out because they want me to come over. I'm not like, I'm booking it. So the booking technique is you give them two choices, you know, and I use that kind of, well, they got me coming over. They have me coming over. It's like my boss has me coming over. Again, the director, you're the actor. The scenario is that you have a boss that's telling you to do this, and your boss wants you to go over there Thursday and Friday this week. So when you got to get into character, man. So, okay, great. My simple job is to get you the information you requested. It takes about 15 to 20 minutes. Now, here's why you say it takes 15 to 20 minutes, because if you don't put that, like if you do the drop information by approach, that you have there's scripts out there, well, I'm just going to drop the information by. They think that all they have to do is open the door, answer it, give me the information. You said you dropped the information. They also say, well, can't you just put it in the mailbox? It's like, I tell them it's going to take about 15 to 20 minutes to let them know that I'm coming over and we're going to sit down, okay? They're going to sit down. If you got some extra dessert left over from last night, man, I'm all for that. Okay, you're not saying that, but you know what I mean. Anyway, it takes only about 15, 20 minutes. They have me coming out to your area. Okay, so you got to pretend like you're coming from way far away. They have me coming out to your area Friday and Saturday this week. Don't book further than 48 hours ahead. You're going to kill yourself with no-shows. You're going to kill yourself. You're going to kill yourself with no-shows if you book beyond 48 hours. I promise you. But Alex, what if they can't really book with me? Then tell them you'll call them back later. Okay? Well, I'm going to have to get back with you because, you know, I only have Friday, but I'm going to try to insist. Look, it only takes 15 minutes. When do you get back from work Thursday? Well, I get work around 5, but I've got a Bible study. Okay, when does the Bible study start? About 7 o'clock. Well, great. This is only going to take 15, 20 minutes. I'm going to stop over there. I can be there about 5:15. Are you and Mary going to be home at 5:15? Well, yeah, we're going to be home at 5:15. Okay, how if I show up between 5:15 and 5:30, and then, you know, we'll get you this information. But Alex, doesn't an appointment take an hour and a half? Yes, but dropping off the information takes 15, 20 minutes. It takes 15, 20 minutes to do the ATM presentation. You're, so you're not lying to them. No, I'm not lying to them. If they want me to stay to fill out an application, it's on them. It's on them, not on me. I'm doing my job of giving the information. If it compels them to want to protect their families, well, then I'm on, I'm on their clock. They're inviting me to stay, so I'm going to help them. Does that make sense? I make it sound like a short period of time. 12 appointments a day. Yes, you can book 12 appointments a day, but that's one every hour. Absolutely, because the show rate is like 75%. So, anyway. Yes, you can book 10 to 12 appointments a day. Absolutely. Okay, and I'm not going to get into scheduling, but that's what you can do. I will talk a little bit about scheduling. So don't book more than 48 hours ahead. Okay, I can be there between 6 and 7 p.m. on Friday or between 12 and 1 p.m. on Saturday, which is better for you and Mary. I put both people in there. Now wait for, WFA is wait for answer, but no longer than 48 hours. And then you kind of negotiate when you can be there, right? And then you lock it down. They say, well, yeah, okay, sounds good. Thursday sounds good at, or Friday sounds good at 6:30 p.m. All right, 6:30 p.m. Okay, great. Now let me give you a case number. Do you have a pen? May I ask a very important tie down? Let me give you a case number. Alex, what do you use for a case number? I might just put, the lead has a lead ID. Each lead has an ID number. So I might give them the last 6 numbers. So 269204, okay? Just, you don't really use it, okay, per se, but I would be consistent with it, okay? So 6:30 Friday, okay? And now I want you to write down my name. My name is Alex, and the case number is the case number. I don't give them my phone number. They probably already have it in caller ID, but I don't really want them to call me that they're not going to be there. I want to go over there. I'm going over there, man. It's a done deal. I'm going over there. Now, I ask for general directions. Well, can't you just do this on your GPS? You know what? How many times have you put someone's address on GPS and you look on GPS and it puts you out in the middle of a field with no roads going to it, right? Like, I want to make sure I'm going to the right general area and I'm not going to another part of the city. Like, if you put in Lyons Road instead of Lyons Drive, like coming to this office I'm talking to you from, if you put in Lyons Drive, it's going to take you, you're 10 minutes away from here. And you're going to follow that, and you're going to be in the wrong place. So I'm going to get kind of general directions to vector me in. It's like, okay, I think you're in, XYZ part of town. Let's say I'm going down I-75 South. Am I taking the Mitchell Avenue exit? Yeah. If you're coming from Dayton, 75, say you take Mitchell Avenue exit. Okay. All right, cool. And then you make a right on the exit. Okay, make a right on the exit. And then you're going to get to Main Street, make a left on Main, and then make a right, the first right, and then our house is going to be on the right. Oh, okay, great. So your house can be, how many houses down? It's the 3rd house on the right. All right, great. Now, what color is your house? It's white with green shutters. Okay, white with green shutters. And tell me what cars are going to be on the driveway so I can make sure I'm at the right place. Well, there's going to be a GMC pickup truck, black. And now the numbers going to be on the license plate, on the curb, on the garage. Where are the numbers going to be? Oh, we have it on the curb and we have it on the mailbox. All right, cool. And since I'm coming out there, is it going to be dark? So could you put, do me a favor, can you put your porch light on for me, please? Absolutely. Okay, great. I'm tying it down. I'm getting directions or general directions because what they're doing mentally, they're visually marching me right to their front door. You know, it's like when you're giving directions to a guest coming to your house, you're visualizing that person coming to your house. I want them to visualize me coming to their house. Does that make sense? That visual is so important to tying down that you're going to be there, okay? And then I do the, oh, by the way, this is where you let them know that business is being transacted. We're not just going to be, you know, just there for fun, okay? I love asking this question. Like most of the top producers don't ask this question because they're already good at field underwriting. They just sit down with the client, they find out their medications and health, they know exactly what product's probably going to fit them. You have no clue when you're new, all right? So that's why, as a new person, I really want you to ask these questions. And in my experience, I really have never had anyone cancel an appointment with me because I asked these medication questions. So you got to phrase it in such a way that you want to do it for their benefit. So their benefit is, hey, great, one last thing to make this appointment short. I'm not there forever. Are you or Mary taking any medications for anything? Don't ask for how it's spelled. Write it down phonetically, and we'll figure out what that medication is, right? Well, I take a medicine called losartan. I'll go losartan. Can you pronounce that again? Losartan. Okay, losartan. By the way, what is that for? High blood pressure. All right, cool. And then I'm taking another one for cholesterol, something statin. Okay, great. And that's for cholesterol? Yeah. Okay, cool. And Mary, what does Mary take? Then you just write down phonetically, just real quick. Remember, it's just real quick. And then once I write those down, you tell me what those are. I know exactly the product. I don't got to prepare you with 3 different products. I can prepare you with 1 product. Okay? It helps me help you. So help me help you. And then, and have you had any major surgeries where you stayed overnight? And then finally, do you have any diabetes, heart attack, stroke, or cancer? It's the big 4. Diabetes, heart attack, stroke, cancer. After you write those down, jot those down. Now, you're going to have like people tell you, like the top producer are going to say, well, I never do that. The client's going to cancel on you when you ask those questions. It's like, well, then you got a weak-ass appointment, man. Like, I want to know, and see what the top producers don't remember is when they were greenies, when they were brand new. They didn't know nothing from nothing. They seem to always forget that they're, 3 years of experience to be experts in booking appointments and field underwriting. You can't teach someone to be an expert. It's hard to teach what you do today and the results you're getting today without helping the person start out crawling a little bit. This is helping you crawl a little bit so you can build the skill through repetition, through reps, to get to be an expert. Okay, so like some of these top producers, that's why a lot of these top producers never duplicate themselves with other agents that they hire, because they can't get it through their thick skull that, it's like the top coaches in the NBA were never NBA players themselves. Like Eric Spoelstra, he's won national championships. The top managers, they might have been players. Yeah, there you find a few more players, but some of the top coaches were never the best players. Did Mike Krzyzewski, he played college basketball. Did he play in the pros? No, but he's one of the best college coaches, right? See what I'm saying? So anyway, like, don't get me started on that whole thing with these, knuckleheads that don't know how to duplicate themselves. Like, if they got a business like mine that's doing 800,000 issue paid with almost 200 agents writing, well, then maybe you ought to listen to them, okay? But they hadn't done that yet. Anyway, I'm sorry. I'm getting off my soapbox. The last tie down. Okay, I'm looking forward to seeing you, Joe. What time did we say again? You quiz them. It is your test to see if they remember the time. Yeah, Friday around 6:30. Okay, and then here's what you throw. I don't even think, I'm sorry, I didn't put this in here. Here's how you book 12 appointments a day, is you tell them, hey, look, I'm going to be there. I got a lot of families to take care of. I might be there half hour early or half hour late. Is that okay? So you give yourself a range of time, fudge time, when you can be there, so that you know that you have fudge time. Like if you get no-showed, then it allows you to go to your next appointment early, okay? Or if your first 3 appointments show up, you're running behind, then you're a little bit late to your next one, right? But it all kind of evens out because you're going to have a 75% show rate. You know, some days it might be 60. So it allows you to have a continuous day of appointments, you know, because not everyone shows up. Like very few times does everyone show up for their appointments. So that's how we do that. Does that make sense so far? I know I'm dumping a lot on you. I do not want to spend forever here. Okay, so let's talk about objection handling. We've got a whole buttload of objections here. I'm not going to go through every one, okay? There's a whole bunch. I want you to read through it and get a feel for them. But here's the commonality of objection handling, is that we're asking more questions. And asking questions is keeping the client on the phone long enough where they feel like we should come over. The longer you can keep someone on the phone by asking questions, that is when you're in the ultimate control. So there's 2 methods of handling objections, okay? The first method is the easiest way of handling objections, okay? Is that it doesn't even matter what they say, you're re-verifying their information. So whatever the objection is, okay, like if someone says, well, we're really busy, I don't have time. Oh man, you know, I don't have a lot of time either, but now this is Joe, right? This is Joe Smith, is that correct? Yeah, and your address is 2632 Mount Chateau Drive, yeah. Well, you know, this isn't going to take very long. It's only going to take about 15, 20 minutes. I'll be in and out of your hair, you know, real quick, okay? So tell me, again, what time you get home from work. I always use that what time you get home from work as a way to start figuring out what holes they have open in their schedule. Because what a lot of people do is they think, well, I've got a Bible study at 7 o'clock, so there's no way I can meet with anyone. Well, their Bible study only lasts an hour. It goes from 7 to 8. So literally, they can't sit down with you after they get home from work before to the point where they have to leave for their Bible study, or if they get home from their Bible study before they go to bed, right? So that's where you kind of figure out their day and figure out a slot you can get in there with. Does that make sense? We already took care of that. Well, okay, you took care of it. Again, your name, I've got it, Raymond Vaughn. This is Raymond Vaughn, right? This is the Paul Minichino approach. He just uses one objection handling technique, and it doesn't really work every time. The whole idea of handling objections is to find the people that are nice enough that'll invite you over, okay? You're not going to turn everyone around, but if you never try, you'll never turn anyone around. Like the hardest one is already taken care of. Like you'd be doing good, dude, if you got 1 out of 10 turned around. Like it's the hardest one, but hey, at least you tried. And then there's some cases where you can actually turn it around. So like I almost don't care how you answer it as much as you try to do the same thing with them. And this is where you get your skill level up. This is where you practice, and you got to get it out of your mouth quick. So when they say, well, we already took care of that, huh? Okay. Well, let's kind of back up here just so I'm clear. Did you get a call from our company, or what happened? Question. Did you have someone come out to your house? Question. To talk to you? What happened exactly? Question. You did? Huh, okay. And you've taken advantage of our free review with where you are with that? Where are you with that? Did someone get a chance to do that with you yet? Your free review, okay? So you're trying to get them to come over. Here's another way to do it. The second bullet. Well, we already took care of it. Took care of that. Well, that's exactly why I'm calling. Most clients get that their initial need taken care of, but they didn't do is they didn't put their emergency response contact list together. Do you know, Joe, there's over $7 billion of unclaimed benefits that insurance companies owe to clients. The families didn't know they had a policy. So the next step for you after you got your policy is for me to come over And what our company does is we help clients set up their emergency contact list so we can ensure that 20 years from now, 30 years from now, that you have a policy in force, that the insurance company will be notified of that to get that claim. And you want that claim to be paid out, don't you? Question, control. Question, control. Well, yeah. Okay, great. They have me coming out to your house on Thursday and Friday. I've got time between 6 and 7, or you go right into booking it. Does that make sense? But you got to try some way to do it. In fact, I actually had one of my agents booked an ERS appointment, a referral appointment on a lead that they already took care of it, but she just booked it on Friday, she told me. Is that cool? So these work if you use it every time, but it won't work every time, but they have a chance to work when you use it. All right, there's all kinds like, stop calling me, take me off your list. Hey, Joe, please don't hang up me. I'm a supervisor. I'm not a telemarketer. I'm just trying to find out what happened here, man. Do you have a second? I may need you to help me fire somebody. So you're in supervisor mode. I don't remember filling that out. Okay, well, let me ask you a question. Did you sometime in the last 24 months take a homeowner? Do you see how you have to go right into it? And these are some of our top objection handling techniques, right? But as you read each one, and don't get freaked out, man, because we all started here, okay? There's a vibe to it. There's a question and answer. You're finding out, well, tell me what happened. I don't understand. Did someone come into your house? Well, it doesn't sound like they came from our company. Sounds like it was too expensive. It's too expensive. Well, it sounds like you sat down with someone. Huh, that's crazy. Because we've been able to find clients affordable options because you have 15 different insurance companies. So it didn't sound like someone from our company got to you yet, because if someone did, then we would have gotten you covered something that was with something that was much more affordable. So, and then here's some other ones. These are what Jonah uses too. Jonah's pretty effective at booking appointments. So if if Jonah's coaching you, he's going to probably help you with these objection handling, okay? All right. Now, all right, so I'm going to point you to that website that has the live dial sessions. All right, hold on. This is the backup to everything we're teaching on these 3 sessions. This is the backup website that's got, okay, it's abnfinancial.com/boot camp material. Okay, do you see that on the screen? It's abnfinancial.com/boot camp material. All one word, all lowercase. abnfinancial.com/bootcamp material. And this has all the stuff we've talked about and we'll talk about tomorrow. And you see the sales system booking appointments. Under the section live dials, these are all the people that are dialing live. You can hear them booking appointments. There's some great approaches. Carrie Williams does this really interesting approach. It's the third-party approach. She actually books her appointments for Carrie. I forgot what she says her name is. Hi, this is Linda. I'm calling for a mortgage protection department. And then she books an appointment for Carrie. So when they come up with objections, she says, well, I can't really answer that. Carrie she's one of our top agents in the area, and she'll be able to handle that question for you. So it's like Teflon, man, Teflon. Now, you got to feel comfortable doing it, right? But she does it, and she kicks butt. She's like one of our top 6-figure income earners, and her approach is really unique. So you can use the third-party approach. It's kind of cool. If you're cool with it, okay? If you think you're deceiving somebody, then don't use it, because if you think you're deceiving somebody, then you are. Okay. So anyway, so that's where the live dials really will help you more than, you know, me role playing with you or me even live dialing here. Although I could do it, and I've done it in the past, and I've booked appointments. And I've also got shut down on it. Like actually, you can hear me doing it on live dials. I have a video of me doing live dialing. And these are old leads, like 6 months to a year old. And you hear me getting shut down. You hear me booking appointments, you know, so anyway. So that's where it is, abnfinancial.com/bootcamp material. All right. How many appointments did you book? And oh, okay, I already answered that question. All right, man. Any other questions? I'm going to unmute everyone. I know it's going to be loud, but let's see if we can do this. All right. Any questions? I've unmuted everybody. I know
don't
that
have
was
any right now.
okay. I know that was kind of hardcore and quick and a lot of information, but
I'm sure I'll figure out some questions later.
yeah, I know you will. I know you will. And it's always an open dialogue, Jeremiah. All right. So rock
You
on,
hear
everybody.
me, Alex?
Go ahead.
Alex?
Yes.
Yeah, it's Don Leibowitz. How are you?
Hey, real good, Don. How are you?
I'm doing fine. I can see you.
Hey, man. That's so
Good
awesome.
seminar, really. I mean, really. I've done a lot of this, and I really look forward to working with you.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to working with you, Don. I think you can really do well with us. You know, you seem to have a very positive attitude. And I'll tell you what, that attitude will get you through anything. Will get you through all the learning curve. And this is a learning curve, gang. You have to learn, and it's going to be sometimes, that's a good way to describe it. It could be discouraging. Like I remember those days, but you got to power through it because everyone has gone through it. You know, some days are tough, but then you get the little victories. And the little victories will keep you going. It's like a golfer. Like, how many of y'all play golf? Okay.
I do.
Man, that is the most frustrating sport in the world.
Oh,
No
question.
I'm sorry?
I said no question about it. That's true.
Tiny ball, little hole.
I know, man. And I'll tell you, that one, you hit this drive, like, you crush it, man. It went 275 down the middle. And it's like,
wow.
It's that one shot that will keep you coming back, you know, because all the slices and all the hooks that take you off the fairway, you just want to break your club. But then that one, and then that one like 30-foot putt that you got lucky.
Oh, that's what I was just going to say. That one brings you back too.
I'll tell you what, man, it sucks you in, man. It sucks you in.
Oh, yeah. Like a vacuum. I'm going to let you go. I'm sure there are other people. I'll be online with tomorrow. All
right. Sounds good, gang.
Thank you.
All right, man. Same bat time, same bat place. Tomorrow night, we're going to go over the sales system, which is, to me, the funnest part. I love teaching it. And get ready to rock the house, man. Like I said, if you haven't prepared yourself on the bootcamp prep page, make sure you go there and download all the stuff that I asked you to. It's abnfinancial.com/bootcamp prep. Okay, it's very simple. I don't have any links that you can click on because it's not password protected, but I want you to like just get to it and bookmark it. So it's abnfinancial.com/bootcamp prep, all one continuous word. Get all that stuff done, you know, before tomorrow night at least. And if you haven't signed up for my email blast for this bootcamp team this week, go to abnfinancial.com to the bottom, click on the bootcamp link, and then fill out the form. And then you have to verify that you want emails from me by going into your spam folder or into your inbox, and it'll email like almost immediately. So if you don't see it right away, then look in your spam folder to verify that you want to be on that email blast list. Remember, it's only going to be very short. Like I'm only going to use it for this week. I'm going to email you lots of good stuff after the boot camps, and then I'm going to dissolve it. All right. So rock on, man. Had fun. Now it's time for dinner. I haven't eaten dinner yet. So, man,
See you tomorrow.
I'm fired up. God bless you all, man. I'll pray for you every day. Fired up.